and Rina are running a race. Rina has won. Tony is still running. And look, Tony is tired. Tony is out of breath. He is breathing quickly.
Uncle Alan, why do I breathe quickly after I have been running?
Hello, children. You're quite right, Tony, to notice that when you do exercise like running, you breathe much faster. You will remember that all living things must breathe air. We're breathing all the time. We're breathing in and we're breathing out. In, out. You're breathing now, Tony. We're breathing all the time. We even breathe when we go to sleep. So, when you play running games like you've just been doing, Tony, you breathe in much quicker. You need something that's in the air, and that something you will remember is oxygen. Oxygen. Oxygen is in the air. And when you do a lot of exercise, you need oxygen. That's why you breathe quicker. You breathe in to get the oxygen into your body. You need oxygen to do exercise.
Remember, children, we breathe in all the time, even if we haven't done any exercise. You may not know that you are breathing, but look at your belly. It is moving as you breathe in and out. Put your hand on your belly. Do you feel it? It is moving. Oxygen is getting in and carbon dioxide is getting out. When you are relaxed, you make no sound when you breathe. You breathe silently. But when you are tired and out of breath, as Tony is, we can hear him breathe in and out. You can also control your breathing.
So, children, when we breathe in oxygen, which is in the air all around us. Oxygen. Oxygen. When we breathe out carbon dioxide. We need the oxygen that is in the air. It is the oxygen that keeps us alive, children. And it allows you to play and to do exercise and to stay alive. Oxygen is very important for living things.
Uncle Alan, do our cats and dogs need air and oxygen too?
Yes, they do, Rina. They need oxygen to stay alive. All animals need oxygen. It's important, children, that when you take perhaps a small animal to the vet, if you put it in a small box like this, it's very, very important to put air holes into the side of the box so that the animal can breathe. All animals need oxygen to stay alive. If it doesn't breathe and it doesn't breathe in oxygen, the animal will die.
Here is an experiment to show that animals need oxygen to stay alive. If you put a cockroach with some food inside a closed box for some time, what will happen to it? The cockroach dies after a few days. This is, of course, not because of lack of food, but simply because of lack of air. The cockroach has breathed in all the oxygen present in the box. No more oxygen, therefore the animal dies. So, animals too need oxygen to stay alive. Elephants, birds, cats, insects, and dogs all need oxygen.
We said, children, that we breathe all the time. But what happens when we come into the water? What happens when I go under the water? Just have a look and see. When I'm on the surface, I can breathe. But when I go down into the water, how do I breathe then? Well, of course, children, I don't. I hold my breath like this. I take a good breath and I don't breathe when I'm in the water. So, I'd like to give you one of my little tests. What animal or animals can breathe under the water?
Fish can breathe underwater.
When I go underwater, I can't breathe. I really don't understand how a fish can breathe underwater.
Yes, of course. Fish can breathe in the water. They have a special apparatus on the side of their head which is called gills. The gills take in oxygen from the water so they can breathe. If I had gills, I wouldn't have to breathe through my mouth and nose, which I can't do under the water.
Water contains oxygen dissolved in it. So, in water, we have oxygen too. Unfortunately, we, human beings, can't breathe in the oxygen present in water. But for the fish, breathing underwater is so easy.
Well, children, there are ways in which human beings can actually breathe while they're looking into the water. Let me just show you. I put on these goggles so I can see, and I'm going to breathe through this tube which we call a snorkel.
Uncle Alan, you have said that all living things need air. Do plants also need air?
Yes, Tony. Even plants need air. Like all living things, plants take in oxygen and release carbon dioxide.
Through their leaves, plants take in oxygen all the time, night and day. During the day, in the presence of sunlight and water, plants also take in carbon dioxide from the air to manufacture their food.
Oxygen is released.
This process is called photosynthesis.
Now, this is very important, children, because the oxygen that we breathe is actually given out by plants. Plants are very important for life. Without plants, we wouldn't get the oxygen and we would all die.
Don't forget, children, without air, there would be no life at all in this world. So, it is also very important to keep the air we breathe in as clean as possible. When the air is polluted, we breathe in dirty things and we may suffer from health problems.
Uncle Alan, you have said that we human beings need oxygen from the air to stay alive. But how does our body use the oxygen it gets from the air?
How is the oxygen from the air used by the body? It all starts when we breathe in. We breathe in through our nose or mouth, and the air goes into the lungs here. So inside the body, have a look. This is a picture of inside your body. Inside there are two bag-like things like this. They're called the lungs. Air goes in through your mouth or nose into the lungs. The oxygen from the lungs is absorbed into the blood and is pumped by the heart round the body. Then carbon dioxide goes into the blood, taken back to the lungs, and then we breathe that out as carbon dioxide. So that's what happens inside your body, children.
I'm sure you've heard that smoking cigarettes is bad for your health. This is because the smoke from cigarettes is very harmful to your lungs. If your lungs are damaged, then you will not be able to breathe properly.
We've seen, children, that air is important for life. All living things need it. But air is important for something else. Let me just show you something. Right then, children, I want to show you something. You recognise this? It's a candle. And as it is, it's perfectly harmless. But now I'm going to light it. Now, that candle has a fire on top of it. It is burning. Now it's different. That candle and that flame, that burning, is dangerous. So be very, very careful, children, when you're burning candles. Don't play with candles. Don't play with fire. Now, I want to show you something, and here is my little test. I'm going to put this jar over the candle, and I want you to watch very carefully and tell me what you notice.
The candle went out.
Well, children, the candle went out. But why did the candle go out? Well, I'll tell you. Because when we put this jar over the lighted flame, the flame needed something. And that something was in the air. A thing you have to learn is that all burning needs oxygen. And what happened, children, is that the burning, the flame, used up the oxygen inside the glass. That flame needed oxygen, and we stopped oxygen getting to it. We stopped the air, and therefore the oxygen getting to the candle. And so, a very important thing, children, is that all burning needs air. All burning needs oxygen. Something else you should know is that when something burns, carbon dioxide and water vapour are released in the air.
Fire is very dangerous. How can we put out a fire?
Firemen use water to put out fire. The blanket stops the air getting to the fire and the fire will go out. Firemen can also apply foam over fire to put it out. This is called smothering. And of course, a fire extinguisher can also be used to put out a fire. Something very important, children. In the kitchen, never throw water on a pan which has caught fire. The hot oil in the pan will splash on you and cause severe burns. It is better to cover the pan with its lid so as to reduce air in the pan. This will stop the fire. In today's lesson, you've learned that all living things need air. We need the gas called oxygen, which is in the air around us to stay alive. We breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. Remember, polluted air is very bad for your health. Air is also necessary for burning. Without the oxygen present in air, you cannot light a fire. Remember also, when something burns, carbon dioxide and water vapor are released. Don't go away, children. It's our science quiz time. Which gas do we breathe in from the air? What is the name of the gas which fish breathe in underwater? What will happen to a cockroach or any animal which we keep inside a closed box for a long time? Now, answer by true or false. I can light a candle only in the presence of air. True or false? A fire extinguisher is used to light a fire. True or false? And finally, polluted air is dangerous for our health. So, we should keep the air around us clean. True or false?
Well, that's all we've got time for today, children. So I hope you know a little bit more about air. Remember, air is essential for breathing and it's essential for burning. Goodbye, children. Goodbye, everywhere.